Bulletcast for life. Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. I am a microphone messiah, a 25-year-old piece of gold. A former Bulletcast champion, 11 times a world heavyweight champion, but also on the line, he's another former 11-time world heavyweight champion in the podcast world. He's a Canadian destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, it's Thursday. You know what that means.
Yes, sir. Another edition of the Bulletcast. Happy to be here, and things are starting to look the light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to reopen a little bit in Alameda County. We're not exactly Texas quite yet, but things are looking up.
Not Texas, we're not Georgia, we're not Florida, but things are looking up. Mississippi. You ever been to Mississippi?
No, the only southern place I've been is Florida, and I've been to the Charlotte airport. Great chicken. I think it was Bojangles. I'm not 100% sure though.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been to Mississippi. You know what, Brandon? I did my count. Guess how many states I've been to?
13.
40.
Oh, okay.
10 more. 10
You're
more.
Traveling man.
Traveling world's champion. I'm like Harley and Rick, you know? Nah, man, but I'm excited. You know, I heard the movies are opening back up tomorrow.
You know how many I have?
Like 7.
4.
Oh, okay.
California, Nevada, Florida, Carolina. Pretty sure that's it.
I accomplished a lot of them because I took a train ride once. You know, you pass.
Well, I mean, I've taken like planes. If I fly over them, does that count? Probably not. I have to be on the floor for it to count.
Yeah. The movies are opening back up tomorrow. I know people are excited about that.
But I've been to 4 countries, so there you go.
Hey, there you go. That's awesome. I've only been to, I think, maybe 2 or 3.
America, Mexico, Dominican, and Portugal, the homeland.
America. I've passed New Mexico. I went to Canada when I was a child.
New Mexico? Damn, I didn't know New Mexico.
No, Mexico. I hit the Bahamas when I was like 3. Yeah. Anyways, things are opening back up here. I'm not going to sit and watch a movie because, you know, I have the internet, but I will pop in and pay $10 for a large popcorn and dip. I will do that.
Sounds like a good idea. You know, once you've got all those HBO movies coming out, I'll just go to Bayfair, go to Southland, get some popcorn, and just go back home.
Absolutely. You know? Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know how it works. You probably have to order everything online.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Possibly. We'll find out.
But your boy's going back to the gym next week. I'm going to get yacked.
Oh, you getting yacked?
I'm getting yacked because your boy had some interviews. Let's just say his button-up shirts that fit during the summer last year don't fit now.
Okay. The quarantine wait is real, man. Can you bring somebody for free? Can I come with you? We don't have to ride. We don't have to ride together. I
don't exactly know how that works. I gotta, check with my agent.
I know somebody that works there. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll find out for sure. For sure. All right, but let's get into it. Before we talk about professional wrestling, you know we have to promote it. HD for Life. It's on Teespring or Spring.com. I guess that's the new name for it. So yeah, the designs are Get Her Done 1 and 2, H-Dog, Mother's Love, Hurry Up 1 and 2, King H-Dog, H-Dog dash Get It, Mr. Pimpin', Mr. Sapo, HD for Life Americana, Common Sense Soldier, H-Dog, and Life Safety. They have hoodies, t-shirts, sweatpants, tank tops, face masks, and tote bags. So much more. HD for Life, spring.com. You don't want to miss it. A lot of great work. Graffiti art is the best art. Go get it. HD for Life, spring.com. Hey! There you go. Love it. Now, let's jump into it. Let's talk about the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, NXT was last night, and they had blockbuster announcements. We thought it was, I didn't watch it yet, but I thought it was going to be, you know, they're moving to Tuesday nights. No. William Regal announced the first ever 2-night NXT Takeover. Brandon, what's going to be the official name of it?
I don't know. I know I'm the
named it
NXT
something.
guy, but I haven't, just like you haven't seen NXT yet, but you're just gonna out here just throw me on the spot and I can scrounge together some stuff. Hold on. We got it.
Let's go to the
NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver. That's a great movie, by the way. Is it not? It's a great movie.
Great movie.
Great movie. Stand and Deliver. So the first night will be April 7th on the USA Network for free, and then it will be April 8th on the Peacock. On Peacock. Probably not WWE Network, even though WWE Network will still be a thing in America until April 16th. That news came out. Yeah, man. So that's what's going to happen. Hey, man, it's interesting. You know, I'm excited to see that. Um, Under the Radar maybe making a return. We will discuss that off air about how we're gonna handle that situation. That's gonna be a busy week. You know what I'm saying? Like Dynamite and a Takeover that night. We got the Hall of Fame is the day before. We got oh my god, it's gonna be a crazy week, man. That's gonna be insane.
So much wrestling to talk about. Nice that we're getting a little bit back to normal. Got the takeovers, as you said, Hall of Fames. And I mean, it's the Hall of Fame, but I mean,
we're gonna talk about it.
NXT, they've been a little lackluster recently. I wonder what they're gonna do with the 2-night shows, because I feel as though they're not strong enough to put on two stellar shows. But we're gonna have to see what they can scrounge together.
Honestly, man, like we're looking at WrestleMania right now. They could have just thrown a couple of these matches on a Mania and it would have been fine. It would have been fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many like main storylines I can see NXT coming up with in the next month, less than a month, to make these 2 nights feel special. But I guess we're gonna have to stay tuned and find out.
We are gonna have to stay tuned and find out. And then tell us about the other news that happened on NXT, Brandon.
Well, the other news, this was the one that people kind of knew was coming. We have new championships. We all know I loved championships. Just keep adding. Everyone gets a championship. You get a title. Everyone gets a title. Shout out Oprah. But yes, after the shenanigans that took place last week during the women's tag team title match, William Regal decided, you know what? I'm just going to make my own titles. And so he decided to give christen Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez the new and first time ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And then what happens? He puts them in a match, and then they just lose it in a matter of minutes to Shotzi and Ember Moon. So now Shotzi and Ember Moon are your second NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. I do not understand this booking. NXT is starting to become WWE light. It has better wrestling, I will say, but the booking, I think, has been an issue with NXT, and this is one of the issues that I have. What is the story behind this? You have the heel champions win the entire tournament, beat Ember Moon and Shotzi pretty clean. Then they get screwed over in the title match, and then you give them the titles, and then the baby faces just beat them again. Like, what the hell? 50-50 booking at its finest right there.
Yeah, man, I'm doing some research real quick. Keep going on with it. Then I'll give you my take.
I mean, I'm kind of done.
NXT,
as much as I love it and what it used to be when it was on the network, it has fallen off a tad bit, I will say. Now, if they move to Tuesday, I'm not saying that's going to just make everything better. Maybe the numbers will be better. They might get over 1 million people watching. That is a possibility. But, I mean, as I said, with the NXT going back to the takeovers, you have the Adam Cole Finn Balor match. Finn Balor. We didn't get any new champions. I mean, besides the tag team champions, we didn't get Tony Storm win or Adam Cole win. Looking like Finn and Karrion Kross will be the main event of one of those nights, probably the second night. So
that's awesome. You know, Finn's got that juice. Finn juice. What? Look, man. With the addition of the women's tag team titles, WWE now has 20 championships. 20 championships. What are we doing? What are we doing? This doesn't make it special anymore. You already have women's tag team titles. You could have just given them those. Why?
I think another issue is that Triple H kind of talks about, but he doesn't overtly say because he doesn't want to get in trouble at family dinner. He is kind of he has to book, and he always has in the back of his mind that on a whim, Vince can come in and just mess everything up. Now, I agree. I think you should have just given the titles to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Have
Dude.
them beat. They don't. I mean, Nia and Shayna don't need the titles. The women's tag team division, as even though they have like a overall maybe shallower roster in NXT, they have a deeper women's tag team division that people care about over there. They have even Candice and Indy. Like that's a tag team. You have Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. I know they're kind of the lower level jobbers, but at least it's like a definitive tag team that people kind of care about.
Look, Triple H just said we don't. He was on a press call like 3 weeks ago when he said, "Yeah, we don't need all these championships." Then why are you creating more? Why are you doing this, dude? Look, when WWE ECW was a thing, how many titles did they have, Brandon? They had just one. They had just one.
I didn't watch ECW, but the only ones I remember is the World one.
I've been watching some lately. I was watching some last night. That's a whole other podcast discussion. My point is they just had one. FCW, how many titles did they have? They have the heavyweight, they had the ladies, and they may have had a tag. You know what I'm saying? You understand?
I mean, even going back to the North American title, I was never a big fan of having the North American title, but I kind of understood because at that time they had a pretty deep men's roster, but now it's not that deep now.
That's fine. I don't care about the North American title. That's fine. I think a promotion should have a heavyweight title, a male singles, a woman's heavyweight title, and then a tag. Those four are fine. Look, when I was a kid, man, when we were kids, we had the WWE, we had the Big Gold, there was a World Tag title, there was a WWE Tag title, IC, US, and a Women's. And then you throw in the Divas. That's only 8 championships. It seemed like a lot, but compared to now, it's not. You have a 2 champions for men and women on SmackDown and Raw with tags and heavyweights. You have like, what are we doing? You have NXT UK, you have NXT Evolve that's probably going to get a championship. You know, we have a cruiserweight champion, we have a 24/7 champion. It's too much. It is too much.
And then especially when it comes to like the pay-per-views, there's so many titles. Some of them aren't even defended. And then when it comes to like WrestleMania, a bigger show, I feel like all the matches are title matches. And it's like, how am I supposed to get hyped for the Raw tag team titles when they barely had a feud? And then like you have the IC title and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it's just too much.
The only time titles need to be on the line is Night of Champions or Clash of Champions. The tagline for that pay-per-view is every championship is on the line. You know, like that's fine.
But then when you have 10 matches and 9 of them are championships, it kind of gets overblown. And then by the time we get to like the main event,
here's what we do. If you're not going to have the Big Gold, I'm sorry, get rid of the Universal. Roman, I love you to death, brother. You'd look awesome with the Big Gold. Go dig that out of the warehouse. As far as the 2 women's champions, you kind of need it. You kind of need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you just gonna have like Charlotte and Asuka and let's say Shayna Baszler or Nyla fighting for a woman's title on Raw and nobody fighting for anything on SmackDown? You kind of need it there. So you know what? I've come to terms with. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? The US and IC, they've been there forever. That's fine. And back in the day, I mean, before we got the extension of the WWE tag titles back in like 2002, the tag champions, they floated and that was cool. It was fine. So we can do that. We can have floating tag champions. The women's tag titles with both the divisions, we don't need them. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. We do not need them.
The men's tag title scene is so shallow. I mean, I feel like we've had the Hurt Business take on the New Day this entire pandemic, and they just keep going back to it. And that just shows you how shallow that the men's tag team division is over on Raw. Like, I agree, have one tag team, and then the women's have like the heavyweights or the men's. Just, you can have 2 titles there, but tag teams really should be just one.
Yeah. Like, do you know how badass the Hurt Business would be? They have the world championship, and then they have the true world tag team titles. Like, we're the champion of this whole company. You know what I'm saying? That's where that should be. And then look, the 24/7 title, nobody takes it seriously. Who cares? As far as NXT goes, look, dude, the NXT title, the North American title, that's fine. You have the tag titles. You have a women's championship, okay. The cruiserweight title, I don't have a problem with it because of the lineage of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with the lineage of that. And then if we get to NXT UK, like maybe, I don't know, man. I don't want to say pull the plug on it because like what? Like, what's the best thing to come out of there? What homegirl who just had that match with the Japanese chick. I heard that match was awesome. I got to check out that. You know, you got Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Where the hell's Tyler Bate and Trent Seven? We don't know. You have Imperium. That's pretty badass. That's really it, dude.
Alien Dragunov.
Oh, Dragunov is awesome. Yeah, and that's really it. Let's be real. That's it. I know that's Sean's baby. I know that's HBK's little baby over there. I love it. I love HBK. NXT UK. They have some promise, but let's be real, man. Let's stop while we're ahead.
And I'm not saying this is the number one reason why they have so many titles, but it is maybe like third or fourth is for merchandising and selling all these titles. And you can sell the, I don't know, $500 replica and make a little cash on the side.
Yeah, hit up my boy West Coast Design. He'll make you the exact same thing for cheap.
I will say, though, I do like the design of the NXT women's titles better than the actual WWE women's titles.
Well,
even though it is kind of like all the titles are kind of the same in NXT, but
yeah. Well, you look at that. I'm surprised. Like the women's tag title is the only thing that's different, really, huh? For the main roster.
But, I mean, it's almost just like the WWE roster. It's just it has a different strap. That's the only thing that's really different.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous, man. We don't need all these championships, dude. Like, we really need to cut back. We need to look at it and we're like, like, what are we doing? And for NXT Evolve, we don't need a championship there. I'm gonna throw it out there right now. We don't need that. We do not need that. Those guys can fight for an opportunity to get a North American title shot or a cruiserweight title shot. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're like from the UK, they can fight for an opportunity at Walter or something. We don't need championships over there. We don't.
It's almost like they just use it as a crutch, as a championship of, oh, I want the championship, so here you go. And then I attack you instead of trying to tell some cohesive, in-depth stories.
You know, like when I was a kid, man, if you were a champion, that mattered. Now everybody's a champion. Hell, look, we've been champions so many times, Brandon, maybe we should just have a whole bunch of championships here.
Once I get the title back, then we can just discontinue it.
No. We should just have a whole bunch. We should have the heavyweight
title. I told
title.
you when we were co-champions, we should have just, Thanos snapped out of existence. But no, somebody wanted to be champion on their own.
We should have that. We should have a trivia championship. We should have tag team titles. We should just get a championship for Cindy. Like we should just have a whole bunch of championships.
We have a women's division, a tag team division, a cruiserweight division, which we all know my big ass ain't gonna be in that one.
Nah, we'll extend the weight limit. 240 is the limit. There
okay. I think I might have to be like Matt Hardy, maybe cut a little bit of weight, maybe not have breakfast, but I think I'll get it.
Yeah, there you go. Like it's too much, dude. Like I'm not a fan. Something needs to change because I've been watching NXT from like 2014, 15. Dude, it was so awesome. It was so awesome, dude. Like, can we get back to that? Can we possibly get back to that?
I mean, I wish NXT would just go back to an hour. Like those WWE Network hour-long shows, you legit just build it around one match and they have a burner.
Everybody wasn't on every week. The champion wasn't always there. Like we'll hear from the NXT champion in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like they did stuff like that, which was cool. It was kind of like back in the day where, like Huey's era, like they didn't see Hogan all the time, but when you saw him, you knew it was a big deal. You knew it was important. Like Hogan's wrestling on Wrestling Challenge. He's wrestling on Superstars. I have to see that. You know what I'm saying? We need to do that on WWE too. Like it's a whole lot of stuff, but that's a longer podcast. Let's power through the rest of the show. On SmackDown, Daniel Bryan is on the fast lane to WrestleMania. He beat Jey Uso in a steel cage match. So at Fastlane a week from Sunday, he would challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Could Daniel Bryan possibly beat Roman Reigns and have a real dream match or another possible dream match with Edge? Both men who retired from kind of the same situation. Both men who we thought would never wrestle again, and then boom, here we are.
As Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible. But Daniel Bryan's not winning that match.
No, he's not winning that match. This is a rematch from the original Fastlane in 2015, which we're going to talk about later on. I know,
crazy.
Right? It's poetic justice. All right, moving on from
put
that.
It in a song.
There you go. Was I supposed to keep going?
No, we don't want to get NDA'd or whatever.
Kendrick
DMCA'd.
Kendrick won't mind. All right. Also, Apollo's new presentation. So Apollo Crews, the Nigerian prince, can we call him that? That dude hits us up. I forgot. Isn't that dude's name? Nigerian prince. Hey,
And
man,
Apollo all along.
it's been Apollo all along. You know, the sphere, the guards, the accent. I like it, dude. I'm a fan.
So
Put that.
last week I kind of defended it, and I was like, you know what? Because I believe, I don't know if it was Nigerian prince, but someone kind of was like, okay, maybe this is a little bit racist, and I defended it. But this week I was a little more down on it. I mean, he spoke. I was okay with him doing the accent for like, the back end and kind of using it to be like his serious voice. But then when he just did it the entire promo and he has the spear and the guards behind him, that's when I was like, okay, like it's a little cheesy and it was like kind of too fake. And maybe I can see them playing the Nigerian aspect of it for Heat now. I can kind of see that.
I can too. Let's not go to the days where Kofi was just Jamaican. Let's not just have him speak like this from now on. Because like, dude, we know what your real voice sounds like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know, man.
I
I
mean,
don't.
the accent was really the main thing that I have an issue with. It's
It was good. It
why
was
was
very,
he speaking like that the entire time when we've seen him for however many 5-6 years speaking a completely different dialect? So now we know it's definitely a put on.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe he should have just debuted with this from the beginning. Maybe he shouldn't have spoke for the past 6 years and then just talked like this. I don't know.
I mean, for the most part, maybe for like 3 of those years, he never talked.
Yeah. I remember that episode of Breaking Ground where he was cutting a promo in the Performance Center, and Scott Hall was like, "Hey, bro, do you really talk like that?" They just give him pointers. Breaking Ground was so good; they shouldn't have canceled that. I like that on the network. It was great.
I think I still randomly have it like on my list, even though I watched it when it first came out and I just never took it off.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna miss this format of the network. Like looking at what Peacock's gonna do, dude. I'm like, should we have really done this? I understand, the money's great. It's a business. Wrestling's about making money, but I'm like, this format is just so smooth and crisp. Like, do we really want to change this?
I mean, I talked about it. They still don't have an Amazon app, which is the main way I stream all my stuff. So that one sucks for me, but at least I'll be saving a little bit of money. But if you go to, I think, peacock.com/WWE, because now we thought they were just going to migrate everyone over, but no, you have to like cancel and sign up. If you sign up, you get a $10 payment for like 4 months. So you like are only paying $3 a month for Peacock. So you get WrestleMania for $3.
Absolutely, man. I put out some news about that on the Bulletcast Instagram. Go check that out.
I
All
am
right,
happy though I can watch Fastlane on the network one last time, so I get a nice cry out.
I know that's the way to go out. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? I yeah. The network in the U.S. will officially be gone. What I think the 16th or 18th of April. One of those.
It's out before WrestleMania starts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My
Yeah,
bad.
the 6th or 7th.
The 6th or 7th, yeah, something like that. Speaking of the 6th, the WWE Hall of Fame is back. We will have, which I look, I kind of don't agree with this. We will have two classes go in. The 2020 class that was supposed to go in last year, but the world shut down, and then this new class is going to be going in. The first inductee of the new class, Mighty Molly Holly. I thought she was already in.
That's it. Just make it like baseball. Have nobody go in this year, but you still honor the 2020 class.
Yeah, that's honestly, I thought that's what they were just gonna do, like just kind of hold off. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, I guess not. They're gonna power through, which I'm like, oh boy, that's gonna be super long. That's gonna be a long boy.
Well, sucks for people who watch the Hall of Fame.
I watched the Hall of Fame. Look, man. I have my qualms with the Hall of Fame too. I do. Like the whole celebrity wing. I love Snoop Dogg to death. I love him. I love Snoop Dogg. Snoop D-O-double-G, gin and juice. That's my stuff. But he don't need to be in there. We don't need a celebrity wing for the Hall of Fame. Now, as far as like the Warrior Award and Connor's Cure, I'm fine with that, dude. That's perfectly fine. Nobody should really have a problem with that. If you do, you need to check your you just need to check yourself at the
Well,
door.
I mean, you're honoring a man who said some vile things,
That
and creating him to be this hero for.
I'm talking about like hell, they should have named it something else. I'm talking about like the people that are getting the award. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like Sue Atchison, Connor, and some of those other people who I can't remember all of them over the
And
years.
technically, the quote unquote Warrior Award was supposed to be for backstage people, which I believe they did it like 2 years ago. Which finally they actually did it for what he intended to do.
Yeah. So look, those people I don't have a problem with. And as far as some of the people who have gone in the Hall of Fame, I think we've talked about this to death. Like Hillbilly Jim, like really? You know what I'm saying? People were like Tori Wilson, really? And I'm like, well, you know what? She was never the champion, but she was the face of the division.
I
You know,
don't have any, as much as I kind of poo poo on the Hall of Fame, I have no issues when they put people in. It's a show. You can reminisce. And sometimes, like, those lower level people are the ones who have the best speeches.
that's possible. That's true. I mean, the 2020 class, British Bulldog, JBL, the Bella Twins. I forget everybody else. I mean, British Bulldog, one of the best workers. JBL, one of the best heel champions in the company's
Still
history.
got Batista.
Oh, but I forgot about Batista. I forgot
Come
Batista
on.
was
He's the
coming
top
in.
dog.
Yeah, I know, former world heavyweight champion. The Bella Twins, both former world champions, the face of the division for quite some time. I'm happy for all of them. Congratulations. I'll probably do a recap of it depending on how I feel. Yeah.
Shout out Molly Holly. Met
Shut
her
up. Un-
at the place that we cannot name, the promotion we will not name.
oh, really?
Very
Oh,
nice lady.
I believe it. I've heard she's awesome. And you just hear stories about how she tried to help the women and tried to teach them. Congratulations to Molly Holly, man. That's awesome for her. I love it. All right, Vince wished Big Show well. So at a media scrum after AEW Revolution, somebody asked Paul White, how did Vince react to you leaving? He said Vince texted him after they announced it, and he said he wished him well and agreed that this was the best first his career at the time. You see, Vince isn't an evil person.
I mean, that's good to hear. He known the man for like over 20 years at this point. Who knows what the behind the scenes talks were, if Big Show wanted to do a little bit more and Vince just, creative had nothing for him, whether that be behind the scenes or on camera. I mean, it makes sense. It's not like Jericho where that one is like a much bigger deal. And it's like the first one where I can see Vince getting a little tickled at that one. Christian, that's another one, but Big Show, I don't think I think it's a big deal for AEW to get him, but I don't think on WWE they're losing too much.
Absolutely. All right, Kayla Braxton deletes her Twitter. She recently came out as bisexual, and I guess the flack she got for it was too much, and she deactivated it. I thought this has kind of been normalized at this point. Why are people still tripping?
Because we're in the middle of a pandemic and everyone's at home and they have nothing else better to do.
That's true. That's true. That's a shame. Kayla, we don't care what you like. We just care that you do your job well. Isn't that right, Brandon?
Number
Yeah,
one SmackDown backstage announcer.
absolutely. All right. Peyton Royce's fire promo from Raw Talk. Dude, this was awesome. Tell us about it.
Well, we were on, or Peyton Royce was on Raw Talk, and something similar we've seen in a lot of people that they take advantage of the time they were given because they don't get a lot of time on the main roster shows. And Peyton just kind of simply cut a quote unquote shoot promo to where they kind of talked about Asuka being away and the championship being maybe up for grabs. And she was like, you know what? Why don't I get a chance? Charlotte, Asuka, they're cool, but they always get the opportunity. What about me? What about my shot? I never get a shot, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was a very, very good promo. Is it a shoot? Probably not. But Peyton, I think she is underutilized. Billy Kay, I think, is also underutilized. But, when it comes to in-ring, there's some question marks there, but I do agree personality-wise, Peyton is someone that WWE should be using more because, especially with Becky Lynch gone, Lacey Evans being a main point, and now she's gone for pregnancy. You look around the women's division, there's really nobody there except for Charlotte and Asuka. And Peyton, as I said, not exactly the best in the world, but I think she's a viable option.
Well, yeah. See, here's the thing. This is what they used to do back in the day. When people would get out with an injury, what did we do? All right, we got this guy. Let's give him a shot, and then boom, you know, people they hit a home run. They become successful. They win a heavyweight title. You know what I'm saying? Look, Peyton Royce. I've always like admired her talent, especially when she was in NXT. I think she had a title match against Asuka in NXT, and I was like, oh, she's working pretty decently. Okay, maybe there's something there. I like Peyton Royce. I've always admired her or liked her look or her charisma's great. I think she's hilarious. I think she's the more talented worker out of the Iconics. I want to see her have an opportunity. Let's get that started. Let's see what she can do. Give her the ball. Let's see if she can run with it.
I completely agree. I mean, as much as I love Asuka, and I think Charlotte is definitely talented, it is running a little repetitive. And if we get Charlotte and Asuka, probably that's what we're going to see at WrestleMania. I want some more. And I mean, Rhea Ripley, we're seeing her vignettes. We don't know if she's going to be something before WrestleMania and beyond WrestleMania, or what's going on with that. But we shall see.
We shall see. All right, inside of the ring. So this Sunday at I want to say Sacrifice. Rich Swann, the Impact Heavyweight Champion, is going up against Moose, the TNA Heavyweight Champion, in a winner-take-all match. The winner of that match faces Kenny Omega at Impact Rebellion in a winner-take-all. So, can Kenny Omega walk out the AAA Mega Champion, the AEW Champion, and the newly crowned Undisputed Impact Champion? Most likely, that's
that is a very real possibility. They were building to this last pay-per-view or whatever special on Impact with Kenny in the tag team match, and I mean it makes sense. AEW, Kenny in particular has been getting a lot of shine on Impact, but when it comes to AEW, they haven't really talked about Impact all that much, which kind of, AEW's or Impact I think is getting kind of more out of the deal. I would say just because they're getting. It's kind of a weird dynamic that they have right now. It's like AEW is on Impact. Impact will talk about AEW, but yet AEW won't talk about Impact on their show.
They talked about them this week a little bit, in a joking manner. But
really, the only thing they talk. The other thing with Moxley, but really the only thing really they talk about is when Gallows and Anderson come out. It's like, oh, they're the Impact tag team champions.
Well, they'll get a lot more shine if Kenny Omega wins that championship. Yeah.
But then it's always the case is you put the title on him. He's this unbeatable guy. He hasn't lost on AEW really at all. How do you get the title off of him in Impact?
Put him in a triple threat and somebody pins somebody that's not Kenny Omega.
And then we get the Charlotte NXT situation.
No, you don't.
You come in, you beat the champion, and then you don't even do the job on the way out.
Well, you'll be all right.
It's only Impact, right?
It's only Impact, yeah.
Dang,
it's not like 2005 when it was on fire. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Screw it, make Christian the world champion.
we're gonna talk about that. All right. This day in wrestling challenge 1987. We have WWF Superstars of Wrestling. 1991, Ricky Steamboat made his return to the WWF. 25 years ago today, Mark Henry makes his WWE debut on Monday Night Raw. We have Raw 2002. This is NWO, Hogan, Nash, Hall defeating Austin and Rock. Hogan beat Austin in the only match they were involved in.
There you go. So much stuff.
No. There's a lot more, but
much stuff.
People said that Hunter should have been involved in that on the Austin Rock side to make it probably the greatest six-man of all time.
More people equals more superstar power and more money. Just like more championships.
Oh my God, here we go. The WrestleMania 20 press conference happened on this day in 2004. Triple H was the World Heavyweight Champion. Eddie Guerrero was the WWE Champion. TNA Destination X on this day in 2007. Christian Cage retained the NWA Championship up against Samoa Joe. You had Chris Sabin in a 2 out of 3 falls match against, I think, Jerry Lynn for the X Division title. Raw on this day in 2013. Undertaker pays his respects to the late Paul Bearer. SmackDown on this day in 2014. Big Show defeats Kane. Yeah. Fan mail, yay! Woohoo! Yeah. All right, fan mail. Let's do it all. Jack of all trades. So happy for Christian Cage. Never felt like he truly got his just due in WWE, even though he has been the world champion. Can't wait to see what the Instant Classic has in store for AEW. Yeah, I can't wait either, man. I can't wait either. I'm excited. All right, let's go over to the Instagram. No hootie hoo this week.
Oh,
hey man, you leave us wanting more. Oh man, Becky Lynch's father passed away. R.I.P. R.I.P. All right. And Brad is the X.
Mr. X.
So how do you feel about Apollo's new accent? We just talked about it. I only heard about Maki Ito a few weeks ago, but she's already one of my favorites. I disagree. We're going to talk about that when we talk about AEW. In the fallout of the botched ending to the exploding barbed wire death match is the teaming of Mox and Kingston uh, than watching those sparklers around the ring. Was it worth it? Uh, if we get these two back together, possibly. We're gonna talk about all that too. What is your favorite cover of an entrance theme? Oh wow. Me personally, I always liked Disturbed's version of Stone Cold's theme better than the original. I also think Seven Dust cover of "Break the Walls Down" for Jericho off the Foreseeable Entry album is underrated. Then again, I've been a Seven Dust stan for over 20 years now. I don't know, man. Do you have a favorite cover?
The only one that came to mind was that Stone Cold Disturbed song. I mean, I love that song. I have it on my phone. I listen to it, maybe not all the time, but I listen to it a whole lot more than I do the original. I mean, I can't really think of covers like all too much. I will say the Snoop Dogg Sasha Banks remix at WrestleMania 32, I did really enjoy that.
That's become our actual theme song as of late. Yeah. I don't know, man. Uh, my dumbass just realized that "Take Me Back" by Evanescence is actually Christian's TNA theme. It's just the instrumental. So can I say that? Is that possible? I mean, technically a remix. Can I do that?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, they should just throw. They should just buy the rights and like throw the words in there. It would make it so much better.
I'd probably be paying too much. But I will say, I think if AEW were to get, I don't know what Turner has in terms of music rights, but if they were to get like some real music, we have Jungle Boy having a real song for his theme song, and it's kind of paid off. I think if you get some actual like real songs for AEW, that could put them, distinguish themselves from WWE.
That's possible. You know what, dude? Jim Johnston doesn't work there anymore. Why don't you just get him? Created some of the best themes in the history of wrestling. Why don't you just get him?
That is a possibility, but I mean, the attraction of ECW was those, the entrances and the real songs, even though Paul Heyman didn't pay for them. And not saying you got to throw millions of dollars to get a Metallica song, but if you could get like some well-known, maybe some pop songs, and you can really, get the crowd involvement and, get that atmosphere going. Because right now, AEW's theme songs aren't that great,
I
to
mean,
be honest.
whose theme songs are actually good? Jericho's. I mean, it's his own music. Cody has Downstate and Snoop Dogg do his, so that's cool.
I do not, as much as I love Snoop Dogg and Sasha Banks, I do not like Snoop Dogg and Cody. It just doesn't
I
fit his character.
I um I don't know. Maybe when he was doing the Master P make him say maybe when he was doing that it would have worked possibly. But I don't know. I have to listen to it more. Yeah, man. If they could just like find like just get Jim Johnston, dude, and get like when theme songs have words, they're good. Like Edge's and Christian's WWE theme and Jericho's WWE theme. You know what I'm saying? Like where they have words and you can sing along to them. That's when they're really good. The greatest instrumental theme probably. Well, Austin, of course, and then you have Shinsuke.
I mean, the greatest song of all time is Minoru Suzuki's theme, and that has words to it, and people sing along to it.
I've never heard a song a day in my life.
Blasphemy.
I've never heard a song a day in my life. All right, let's go into Monday Night Raw. Bobby Lashley retains the WWE Championship once again. He beats The Miz once again with the Hurt Lock. Yeah, started off Monday Night Raw. I actually watched a 3-hour Raw.
Really doubling down on Lashley, just destroying The Miz. Maybe this means The Miz just kind of falls down and has the match with Bad Bunny, which we haven't seen in a while.
Can we talk about that entrance?
That entrance was very, very over the top, and I kind of enjoyed it.
Apparently it was a throwback to his OVW days, which I'm like, hey, dude, that's awesome. That was cool. The only other thing I want to talk about from Monday Night Raw is the no contest that Drew and Sheamus had, in their was it like no DQ match or no holds barred or whatever. Dude, hey man, this was physical as hell, and I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, both men posted photos of their backs on Instagram. You can see they're all kind of scraped up, and it was a real war. They say when you're wrestling your friends, you can be a little more stiffer with them, and that definitely was the case here. I mean, they've had even their match going back last week was phenomenal, and we thought maybe Sheamus and Drew would be a title picture match, maybe coming out of WrestleMania if Drew gets the title, but I think the matches they're having right now are phenomenal, and maybe they can work their way to Drew gets the win. He cut a passionate promo against Lashley, kind of calling him out. So the title is still in Drew's head. I think you can still have this feud, and maybe not go back to it in April, but maybe kind of before SummerSlam you can get Sheamus and Drew if Drew still holds the title.
Absolutely. The finish was creative. You know, they both had steps, and Drew falls over the barricade, and the steps actually landed on Sheamus's head. I was like, oh God, is he alive? You know, that was a creative finish. I like that.
Sometimes not all creative finishes are good finishes, just like in Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, Phillip.
Yes, absolutely. I did want to talk about this. I'm sorry. So, you know, Alexa Bliss is still playing games, and Orton's throwing up black gunk and motor oil or whatever the hell it is, and Styles hits a phenomenal forearm, and boom.
You knew this was coming with Randy Orton. You have Randy Orton, AJ Styles. You knew there wasn't going to be a clean finish. You have Alexa Bliss hanging around. You knew there was going to be some dumb finish to this, and exactly what happened. I will say though, I'm kind of happy that they've held off on the Fiend, and when he does come back, it is created intrigue, and people want to know what he looks like, what he's going to be doing. But just in the interim, what they're doing with Randy, I mean, we didn't talk about it last week, but when he did the promo and he was staring at himself in the TV, and then he was cutting an evil demon promo, I thought that's like some of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
That reminds me of what was it? Hogan looking at the mirror and Warrior pops up. That's what that exactly reminded me of.
It was dumb 30 years ago, and it's still dumb.
I mean, that was like 22 years ago, but still.
I don't care. It was dumb 20-something years ago.
It was dumb then, it's dumb now.
I don't care how much better the graphics look.
Hey, real talk, has she sung Ring Around the Rosie yet? I feel like she has. Has she not?
I'm pretty sure she did, like when she would sit on her swing.
Ring around the rosy. She should just start doing that. I'll pop for that, dude. I do want to know what the Fiend is gonna look like. You know, I mean, he's been scarred. He's been demangled. Will he look like Deadpool when he takes his mask off? Will he look like Freddy Krueger? There's only one way to find out. WrestleMania.
Do you think they pulled like the Undertaker card and like have him not appear until WrestleMania?
Probably.
They probably say that's the best plan, because I think that's where that's really where the intrigue is, because I don't think anybody really wants to see them have a wrestling match. They just want to see what voodoo stuff they do with the Fiend, and with fans in attendance you can't have a cinematic match, I don't think, so you have to do something in person.
Yeah, you can have a cinematic match. You can just throw it on the screen.
We were there for a Randy Orton Bray Wyatt cinematic match. It doesn't really help when there's fans in the crowd.
Yeah, well, there were fans at Revolution. They had a cinematic match.
Touche. But Sting and Darby was on a different level than House of Horrors.
Well, oh man, I think that's the happiest anybody was ever happy to see Jinder. He got a massive pop that night, dude. When he showed up, that was awesome. All right, let's talk about some AEW. So here we go. Rey Fenix of the Death Triangle, or Triangulo de la Muerte. He defeats one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks. This was awesome. You expected spot festy. Rey Fenix runs on the top rope to punt Matt in the head, and he knew it was coming, so he got out the way. I thought he should have super kicked him while he was out on the stage and he was in the ring. I thought that would have been a cool little spot, but they didn't do that. He did super kick him, and then he bounced back and hit him with an Instagram, and then they both fall down to kind of let the crowd take it in. All in all, this was a good match, man. I enjoyed it.
Really stellar singles match. They told the story early that Matt Jackson really hasn't wrestled all that much singles wise, and come to think of it, I mean, the only time that I can really think of him wrestling is when they did the singles and they were in Best of Super Juniors. And I did enjoy that Phoenix was the one to get the win. He's the more established singles guy. Give him the win. I know it's kind of goes back to when I harp on WWE having the title, the non-title challengers win against the champions, but it made a lot more sense here. Tad bit spotty and no selling here, but that's what you come to expect with these two.
Absolutely. So next week, do we get Pac versus Nick?
Possibly.
I think you should have Pac win that one too. Like the tag team wrestlers aren't singles wrestlers, so of course they lose singles matches. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's a good story to tell. I don't know if they want to go that far though.
Possibly. All right, the American Nightmare, the Prince of Pro Wrestling. Cody Rhodes, accompanied by Arn Anderson, the Enforcer, defeats Seth Gargis. And then not Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone is coming down to the ring to ask cut a promo with Cody, and Arn's like looking at his watch, like look at the time. So that's going on, and then we hear an interruption, and it's Pentagon, and he's with who's that dude? Yeah, he's like does like the pre-shows and stuff, or the buy-ins or whatnot, and before Dynamite goes live. I don't know his name. But I've seen him before.
He's also on Being the Elite. I want to
Yeah.
say it's like I don't want to call him Adam, but that's
I
like the only name that's coming to
I
mind.
know. I feel like his name is Adam. I really do. You know what? Maybe we should just go to Dynamite's or AEW's Instagram, and maybe we can maybe we can find something. But yeah, the dude, he's translating Pentagon's Spanish to English, and he said, Cody, if you're the Prince of Pro Wrestling, then I'm the Lord of Lucha Libre. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. That's a nice name. I digs that. Do you have his name?
Alex Abrahentes.
Alex Abrahentes.
I knew it was double A. I just forgot what his first name was.
Oh, double A.
Almost-
Maybe
Almost wanted to call him Ibrahimovic, which that's not his name.
maybe he should. Maybe his middle name is an A. He could be triple A. Triple A. Haha. See what I did there? Get your car insurance, kids. Yeah, man. And then they talk about the shoulder and the ladder match, and like you need to check on your shoulder, or else you won't be able to hold your baby girl, and that sends Cody off for him talking about his unborn child. So they start a brawl, and I'm like, oh, this is an interesting way for Cody to go in a new feud. I'm like, oh, okay, it's different. So I guess we get Cody versus Pentagon next week, the Prince of Pro Wrestling versus the Lord of Lucha Libre.
There's a lot of hard resets and kind of beginning of storylines on this show. I enjoyed Penta's little promo. I would have had Alex not be as heelish. I would have had him be kind of the reluctant, straight edge announcer. Just be like, you really want me to say this? And then he kind of just like says it like with not really wanting to say it, but he has to say it because Penta's right there and he's going to beat him up if he doesn't. I think I would have tweaked that just a little bit, especially for, it's the Spanish announcer. For the English viewers are probably not going to care too much about it. But Penta versus Cody should be a really good match. I've been calling for Penta to be more of a singles guy. I thought he was going to win the brass ring match, but the way it kind of turned out, what we'll talk about, made a little bit of sense why they win with Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're well, looking at this, like I've always liked like when people cut promos in different languages, like Asuka in Japanese, just yelling, just give her subtitles. And like maybe they should have done this with Del Rio. Like maybe he shouldn't have talked as much. Maybe he would have been a bigger deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had Ricardo Rodriguez, a personal ring announcer, but yeah, like cutting promo in Spanish, and then like you want me to? Yeah, I do agree with you. Like he should have been more reluctant to like. Do you really want me to do this? Okay. And then Alex delivers the line, but I'm intrigued to see where this goes, and I want to see more out of these guys. I enjoyed it. I thought this was a interesting segment.
Yeah, two guys who, they're bigger names. We haven't seen them really cross paths, I think, at all. I don't even know if they've had really a match, even a tag team scene. So it's going to be fun to see them work together.
All right, and then next up, Tony Schiavone interviews Sting, and Sting talks, like Darby won, I won, we won, and Lance Archer and Jake Roberts come out there, and Lance is like, you know what, I'm not afforded time, so I'm just gonna start taking time. Really heelish by Lance, who's been portrayed as a babyface over the last couple weeks or month and a half. So I was like, do we really want to kind of go back on it?
Yeah, this was kind of a quizzling segment here. You get Sting, he talks a little bit, and then he gets cuts off like he always does. But then you have Lance who comes out, yeah, as you said, he's been babyface. He hasn't been like a tried and true white meat babyface, but he was kind of on the heelish side when he faced Phoenix. But overall, I a Lance Archer Sting, maybe it was just an interaction. That's all it was just maybe kind of a way for Sting. He cuts a promo, acknowledges that he won. Maybe Sting goes away for a little bit, and then Lance does his thing. But having them two face off doesn't intrigue me whatsoever.
I don't know, man, because I've been watching, like I said, but watching WWE ECW. Lance Archer, he was on there in '09, and guess what his finisher was? The Scorpion Death Drop. So maybe
unless this is a way to get Lance taking on Darby,
possibly. But so maybe there's like a little something there, which I don't understand how WWE messed up on this guy. especially how athletic he is now. I mean, awesome. But hopefully this is the gateway to get to Darby, which we are going to talk about that TNT title match. Next up, we have All Ego Ethan Page defeat Lee Johnson. QT Marshall was in his corner. Ethan Page started beating up Lee Johnson after the match. QT doesn't do anything. Dustin Rhodes comes out there and saves Lee Johnson, and he's like, he's asking QT, "What the hell's wrong with you? What are you doing?" And QT just walks away.
Yeah, this match, at least on my end, was like mixed with like an NBA basketball game, so you couldn't exactly hear what was going on too much, and that just took me out of it. It does suck. I mean, Ethan Page coming in making his AEW Dynamite debut, and you do the thing with QT and Dustin, but just unfortunately the audio issues was, I think, too much for me and probably a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what was going on. I was like, "What? Why can't I really hear this?" And then they cut to commercial, and the commercial was perfectly fine. I'm like, "What is going on, dude?" And they were having like mic issues too, with like the Cody interview, and I'm like, "What's happening, man?"
Not a good side, not a good week really for technical difficulties with AEW.
Yeah, but I mean the show overall it was pretty solid. Next up, we're supposed to hear from Christian Cage, and we don't. The AEW World Champion Kenny Omega comes out accompanied by Don Callis and the Impact Tag Champions, the Good Brothers Gallows and Anderson, and they talk about the pyrotech. Oh, we had a promo from Mox and Kingston earlier on in the match, or earlier on in the show, and they talk about the explosion that didn't happen, and they made fun of it. Which what if it was a work all along, Brandon?
I don't think it was a work. From what I heard, that there was a little bit of heat with the rigging crew, and the promo with Moxley and Kingston. I thought that was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the dynamic that those two had,
The banter, yeah.
the banter that they had, and I thought they played it off well. You put the heat on you put the heat on Omega, saying he couldn't build it, but then I think you have Kenny put the heat on the rigging crew, or he doesn't, because he tried to make it seem like, oh, this was the deal all along. And then when you kind of think about it, it's like, okay, you had this match and you rigged it to not explode. But I feel like you shouldn't have done it that way. I like the babyface's explanation of it. I didn't like Kenny's all too much.
That's true. And I feel like honestly, if like the ropes like exploded like they did during the match, I think people would have been okay with it. You know what I mean? Like if the ropes had gone off too, I think people would have been fine.
I'm just going off of that something was supposed to happen. It just something malfunctioned.
Or maybe it was a work all along, dude. I'm really starting to believe that. Like when Titus slid at the Royal Rumble, that was a work. I'm really leaning towards that. Anyway, they talk about it. Eddie Kingston comes out there, and then they start a timer again, and they're like, oh my god, cover me," and Don covers Kenny and all this other stuff.
Wow. I'm supposed to be the one that accidentally cusses.
So what did you think about it?
I thought this segment was really hit or miss with me. I like kind of the demeanor of Kenny and Don and kind of everything like that. I like Kingston coming out and playing the babyface role, trying to stand up to the heel after they try to blow up his buddy. But then you do the whole wonky thing with the timer. How did Kenny know that that Kingston was going to come out and they just happened to have the timer ready? Blah, it was like there were some good aspects to it, but then there's also aspects I didn't like. And then also maybe the main one was this whole segment was built around Christian cutting a promo. And then Omega cuts him off, does the exact same thing Lance Archer did to Sting, but then Christian didn't come out until the very, very end. Like, so in theory, he was standing in Gorilla waiting for this to happen. And then he just sits there for like 10 minutes, sees this whole thing go down, and then he shows up at the very end. Like, I thought that was just kind of dumb.
Well, Christian's a veteran now. Like he got cut off and he was kind of just watching to see what's going on, and then he picked his spot. You can do that. Like, all right, hey, TK, hit my music real quick. You know what I'm saying? Well, he comes out there. They come face to face. He's gonna hit him with the unpretty or kill switch, whatever you want to call it, and it doesn't happen. Don Callis pulls Kenny out, and then Christian picks up the AEW title. So, a little foreshadowing. This is interesting, man. I was playing around on WWE 2K20 the other night. I was like, you know what? Kenny's my AEW champion on my game. Let me see what I can do. And I put him in there with Christian, so maybe foreshadowing something here.
I think they've been hacking your PlayStation. I think they know what you're doing.
I think they know what I'm doing, dude. I don't know. It's eerie. I don't know. But I would Christian Cage versus Kenny. That's something I'm interested in seeing. Moving on from that, this was the lowest point of the show. Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and what's her name again?
Maki Ito
defeat Shida Mizunami and Thunder Rosa. Look, man, this was bad. Maki Ito singing while everybody's fighting, like that was stupid. It was just it wasn't a good match for me. And like Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Sheeta, they're the four biggest stars of your women's division, and this was bad on all counts. I was not a fan.
Going back to the kickoff or the whatever buy-in at Revolution, I did say I didn't like Maki Ito singing, but then when you go to Dynamite and she, you got to get your ish in, and she's singing while everyone's beating, there's a brawl. I did get a kick out of that. I thought that was funny. Maybe a little too cute by half, but I do agree that the match itself wasn't exactly the best.
This is where creative freedom isn't a great thing. I would have nixed this in the butt. No, no, absolutely not, absolutely not. But it looks like next week on the St. Patrick's Day special, we're getting a lights out match with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker,
The first ever
women's.
women's main event in AEW history, which is a little shocking.
They're main eventing the show.
It said main event in bold letters.
Oh wow. Hey, okay, all right. Winner gets a shot at Sheeta. Can we do that?
I always thought that should have been the American finals to begin with, but maybe they knew that they were going to do this the whole time, and that's why they didn't do it.
Winner gets a shot at Sheeta, and whoever wins beats Sheeta. Let's do it already. God. All right, we get to the TNT Championship match. Darby Allin defends and successfully retains against Scorpio Sky. I didn't know Darby Allin was an amateur wrestler. I like him even more now. We have that bond there. I was like, oh, because I've never seen him like actually wrestle. I've just seen him get thrown around and jump around and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, he can actually work like that. That's what's up, dude. The sit out turn ins and the sit outs and the going for Petersons and whatnots and headlocks and it was all really good. Then they started to pick it up. I did like how Darby was going for a coffin drop or whatever, and Scorpio caught him like with a sit out power bomb. I thought that was a really cool spot. Scorpio Sky, he almost had him, man. All in all, Darby rolls him up and he got caught. He got caught, and then he turned heel. He locked him in an ankle lock of sorts, and he wouldn't let go. And then he walked out of the heel tunnel.
Solid match. I speculated maybe you use the street fight as an excuse for Darby not winning, but he was able to walk away with the cradle and get the win. They've done this a lot with Darby's character, and I think it works. Being so undersized, being a little crafty, and using the roll ups and stuff. I think they use that aspect of his character and other people in other matches very well. But then when it comes to Sky, I mean, you turn him heel, you're trying to freshen him up. I don't want to be that guy, but I feel like all the black wrestlers in AEW are kind of heels, and they kind of devoted themselves that they were going to be inclusive and everything like that. But yet when it comes to their black wrestlers, they haven't done that much.
Who else?
The only one I can think of is Big Swole. And she, unfortunately she kind of tweeted out about her fight with, I think, Crohn's disease. So she's been off the show for a little bit.
That's terrible. Yeah. I mean, even in WWE, like the majority, like Apollo is now a heel. The Hurt Business. I mean,
you got Biggie and Bianca. Heels. Those are the big ones.
Sasha's a face.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
She's a face that has heelish tactics. There we go.
I think she's going to be a little, maybe not full-fledged, but I think she's going to be the heel in the match.
Yeah. Look, man, I understand where Scorpio's coming from. Like, I've suffered big losses like that on the mat, and, like, you get upset. I didn't attack a dude after a match, but, like, I've thrown headgear, been pissed off. Like, no, don't talk to me. I understand where he's coming from. And, I said this on Revolution, that probably, the Revolution recap, that probably, Darby's just going to roll him up and get one over on him. That way, Scorpio Sky stays somewhat credible. What I would have done, I would have maybe given them a rematch, and then if Scorpio lost again, then I would have done this.
I mean, they haven't done too much with they did a really good job early on spotlighting Scorpio Sky on Dynamite, and then kind of fell off a little bit. Hopefully they can kind of circle back. They have SCU. They had Kazarian and Daniels looking at the Phoenix Matt Jackson match, kind of, throwing it out there that they're the number one contenders. They haven't lost in a while. And the next time they do lose, they're going to split up. So I think they are kind of foreshadowing a full-on breakup of all three of them.
I think Daniels and Kazarian need to stay together. My personal opinion. They've been together all these years. It just works.
Daniels is up there. He has more of a backstage role. I could see him maybe fading away. Kazarian, he's good. But he's kind of like a veteran guy who I don't see too much in him in terms of like, higher up stuff.
We'll see. We'll see. Possibly a TNT title run. All right, it was the main segment of the show, the Inner Circle War Council, and Jericho's like things need to change. Lovely white shirt that Chris was wearing. I might add, it was like kind of like a little sequin or something going on. I love
Telling
that.
you, he's going back to his Y2J attire.
I know those are some raw shirts. Those are some badass shirts. Yeah, things need to change. And Sammy Guevara's music hit. I'm like, oh, Sammy Guevara, but he has one of the better theme songs in AEW. I might add, his is really good. Can we agree?
It's okay. I really like MJF's. It's catchy.
His fits him, and the little ding, 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 ding. Yeah, his fits him. And Sammy shows Chris footage of him hiding his phone in the Inner Circle locker room, and MJF comes in there, talks to Santana, Ortiz, and Hager's like, "It's time to get rid of old man Chris, huh? Yeah." And MJF's like, "Chris, I didn't want you to find out like this." And Jericho's like, "You idiot! Do you think we really don't talk to each other? We're gonna give you an old-fashioned Inner Circle beatdown." And he's like, "Hold on. I've been working on a faction of my own." We're like, "What?" The lights cut out, and boom, FTR, Tully Blanchard, Wardlow, Sean Spears. I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming. I don't know what the name of this is, the New Horseman or whatever. They completely beat down the Inner Circle. Jericho's bloody, and then they carry him, like crowd surfing, and then they throw him off the stage through a table. This was a badass segment.
I enjoyed the beatdown. I thought it was really good. Have some blood on Jericho. Really like put it over the top. I'm wondering if this is how they're going to build to their first ever War Games match or whatever their non-trademark name for the match is.
Oh, the blood and guts. Yeah, that actually makes sense now because it's supposed to be the Elite, and the Elite really isn't even a thing anymore, even though they were the strongest faction going into the company. So we've thought about Jericho, going towards a babyface role over the last couple months, with the singing of the song and just the admiration that he gets. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, and then going back to like the promo aspect of the angle, I feel like there's too many swerves in this entire angle. You had like 3 in the matter of like 5 minutes. You have the lights off, lights on gimmick, which I think is way too overdone in AEW. So I think the promo aspect I didn't like all too much. There were some plot holes on what was Sammy initially doing, and then you have them talking to each other, and it was all kind of convoluted, which I'm going to hold out hope. Maybe they talk a little bit more about that next week. You have the thing with Hangman Adam Page and Matt Hardy, where that was kind of convoluted about the contract and Mark Quinn being inside the mascot and blah, 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 blah. There's been some aspects of AEW. There's been some major plot holes. I think this kind of swerve bro aspect to end the show was a little too much for me.
Yeah. Well, actually, go to, I think it's Talk Wrestling. They have an article up on their website of AEW having an identity crisis, of them not truly knowing what they are yet. And I'm like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Go check that out. But yeah, man, I mean, I completely forgot about the Matt Hardy thing and the Dark Order and Hangman thing. We'll talk about that some other time. But I mean, this one, I didn't see it coming. I like, did you think this was gonna happen?
I didn't see it coming. I mean, there were swerves and blah, 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 blah. I mean, the swerves, I guess, got me if that's what you're going for. But like, you had a swerve with Scorpio Sky. You had a swerve with the Kenny Omega stuff. Like, there was just too many of those on the show. And I know this is like a first show after pay-per-view, trying to reset everything, build to your big show at Double or Nothing. But I don't know if this was everyone's doing their own thing and no one communicates what everyone's doing type of thing. But yeah, I think this is a real hit and miss episode of Dynamite, I thought.
It's kind of like an indie show. If somebody does like your finish like in the first match and you're like in the semi main, then you got to do something else. And then the guys in the main event were gonna do what the guy did in the first match and the semi main. Then you got to do it you got to think of something else. You know what I mean? You can't just do the same thing and all these different matches on the same show. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you were saying.
Jericho, I don't think he should be on next week. Keep him off, like really sell the beat down. I mean, and he's older, so it would make sense for him to be gone for a little bit longer.
Yeah, officially turning the Inner Circle babyface, I think, is a good idea. Jericho should be in the babyface role, especially. I mean, he just almost murdered the Young Buck's dad, which we're probably just gonna have to forget about that, even though it happened like 2 weeks ago. But I think Jericho being in the babyface role, maybe taking a little more of a backseat, not being there all the time, it makes sense. And building to Blood and Guts at Double or Nothing, I think, is the right move.
And then he needs to cut a very special promo. Like I mean, Jericho, we know how great his promo work is. Like he needs to let these guys know, like you don't know who you're dealing with. I am a part of a special breed of performer. You know, like the Eddie Guerreros and the Dean Malenkos and the Bret Harts. You know, guys who were told they weren't going to be anything and then became the faces and the best in the world of this industry, that this business has to offer. He needs to cut something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, going to Double or Nothing. Do you think if that's what they're going
May.
for, a war games? Do you think they go for war games at Double or Nothing, and that is like the main event? Because if they are building to Kenny and Christian, that match, yes, it's kind of intriguing because that might be Christian's first match or blah blah blah. But
we're in March,
like a main event match.
That's the end of May. That's a long time.
But if Jericho's off for a couple weeks, it's a little shorter.
That's true. What is this? This is March
11th.
Let me look at my calendar. How long should it be gone? Like 3 weeks?
I would probably say 3 weeks.
Okay, so let's say he comes back on the 31st edition of Dynamite.
Well, next week is the St. Patrick's Day show. That's a big enough show. You can do recaps, but you don't need to do like any big angles. It's going to be a really heavy wrestling show next week.
If he comes back on the 24th, would that be too ambitious? Probably.
I think you can have him cut promos. I think you have him like cut promos at his house.
Yeah. I was just about to say that, from his house, and like he doesn't need to physically be there. I think that's okay. You can do the like the MJF in a match and like Jericho's music hits and he's like, oh my god, where is he? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You can do stuff like that. I say bring him back on the 31st or maybe even the 7th of April. Would you do that? Would you go that long?
The thing is, there's so many people in this feud that you can do little things with MJF's group in the inner circle to where you can build to Jericho coming back at a later date.
Yeah, you can have Santana and Ortiz go up against FTR. You can have Wardlow and Hager. I don't know if you want to do Wardlow and Hager again. You can do Sammy and MJF. Like they need to have a real big match. Oh yeah, you can do that. Like Sammy and MJF, winner decides what the stipulation is or something like that, and then they pick the blood and guts or whatever.
Makes sense, especially because the Stadium Stampede was at Double or Nothing, so it makes sense to have another multi-faction match.
Then the vaccines rolling out, they'll have more people packed in for Daly's place at that point in time. So yeah, we can do that. I want to see how it's going to look. That's my thing.
Well, you have the floor area. You have so much unused space that you can have 2 rings there, and you can also have your wrestlers on either side, or you can. I don't know how they would do that. You put on like a little board and like put it on wheels and wheel the ring over when you need to.
Yeah, just like play like a long video package, have the crew kind of do it quickly and efficiently. Yeah. Something like that could work, possibly. Superstar Spotlight, who do we got? I have to give it to the new faction of Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I think they're doing some great work. I'll give it to Scorpio Sky as well, man. Just an awesome contest. Unfortunately, he didn't get the job done. I can't wait to see what happens there. Those are my Superstar Spotlights. Brandon, what about yourself?
I will give the Superstar Spotlight to Jon Moxley. I thought the match, I love the in-ring aspect of the match on Sunday, and then I really enjoyed the promo this week. So maybe I'll give it to Moxley and Kingston.
Quick thing. I heard Sam Roberts say this on his podcast on Monday. So do you think people would have been as upset if there was no explosion? Like you just go off the air with Moxley lying bloody and battered in the ring. Like the war hero couldn't get the job done. He couldn't bring home the championship to the troops. Would people be as mad?
I would say no. If you're doing the whole Onita Funk thing, you have it was in the rules that there is a timer at 30 minutes. So you knew going in that you knew at least something was going to happen at that 30-minute mark. So if you just left it exploding barbed wire death match and you have, just the explosions on the ring ropes or the tables outside, then I think that still would have been, I think, a disappointment to people, but it wouldn't have been as big of an uproar as it was.
Saying like, just don't do the explosion at all. Just go off the air with Moxley bloody in the ring.
That's what I'm saying. You say, you just don't have that 30-minute timer. You just call it an exploding match, but it's just the ring apron and whatever they did.
Yeah. Okay. I see it. All right. Promo pick of the week: Daniel Bryan from SmackDown a couple weeks ago. I think it was the 5th of March. He talks about Edge and Roman main eventing WrestleMania, where I need to, because this may be my last shot. This may be my last chance, because we know his contract's expiring and he wants to go home and be a dad.
Yeah, solid promo by my boy Daniel Bryan. Little, you got Michael Cole in there, but the story kind of going into it, the aspect of Bryan and Edge wasn't exactly the best take on your two top baby faces on SmackDown, but I thought it was Daniel Bryan telling a good cohesive story.
Don't stop hating on Michael Cole, man.
I'm like Bailey.
I feel like once he officially hangs it, like once he's done, people are gonna look back and be like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. Yeah, that's kind of what happens with a lot of guys when they hang up the boots or the headset. Like when I'm done, the perception of it would be like he was annoying at times, but all in all, he provided a thorough analysis of the world of professional wrestling.
It's kind of the easy thing to do, but I would say Vince is probably dragging Michael Cole down a little bit.
I do pop every time he says, "It's boss time." He doesn't say big dog anymore. The head of the table is here.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't,
it's the
man.
B. I think he really emphasized the B.
The big dog. Yeah. Oh, man. What's our match pick of the week, Brandon?
Well, the match pick of the week, you alluded to it earlier in the show. Roman Reigns taking on Daniel Bryan at Fastlane 2015. This was the match to determine, or winner, I guess, gets the WWE title shot against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. They did it to us again after not giving Daniel Bryan the win at the Royal Rumble. Then they say, oh, if he wins, he can face Brock Lesnar. You guys wanted a Brock Lesnar-Daniel Bryan match so much, right? We're going to give it to you. Yeah, no. We had to wait another few years until Survivor Series 2018 for that Daniel Bryan Brock Lesnar match, which your boy was in attendance for, and I was so happy to see it. Great match, even though it was a heel Daniel Bryan, but still a phenomenal match.
I need to see Brock. How's Brock live, dude? How is it? Like, you saw him at Mania, and then you saw that one. Like, how is it? It's a different level, right?
He just has this presence to him, especially the WrestleMania main event when it came out that he signed, and you knew, possibly he was going to win. It was, Brock. People talk about Brock Lesnar, and he's a beast. He is a beast. He's just a different person. He's built different.
That's why he's the champion. He doesn't have to be there every week, guys. He's an attraction. It's as simple as that, man. I need to see Brock live before he officially hangs him up. Next week's match pick of the week is going to be a Christian match from ECW. What? I didn't find out this match happened until like a couple nights ago. So you're just gonna have to wait like the rest of the world. And Brandon too. He won't know until the day of the show. He won't know.
I'm literally on the edge of my seat right now.
Absolutely. Follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram, The BulletCast, YouTube channel, The BulletCast, email us, BulletCast2, the number 2 sweet as WET@gmail.com. Every Friday night from 11 p.m. to midnight at 104.7 FM KAPU, Watsonville, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We're all over the damn place. HD4Life, Springs.com. Go get it. You don't want to miss it. It's great graffiti artwork. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined. Diamonds are forever. So is the microphone inside.
Red alert, this is gonna hurt when your face is in the dirt.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.